Hello and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a review on the Ruger SR series chambered in .40 caliber. If you like what you see, hit that like button, hit the sub button, and don't forget the bell, and please leave a comment down below. Thank you. Go over a quick inventory of what came with the pistol. Came with one Allen key, came with two 10-round magazines. I do live in the state of Maryland, so 10-round magazines is all we can buy here. And a magazine loader, which we'll talk about just a little bit more. I'm a big fan of the magazine loaders, or assistants, whatever you might want to call them. This pistol is less than a year old, so the magazines are still a little bit stiff, and this really helps once you get to just about number 8. Also, the gun range that I go to is outside, and during the winter it can get pretty cold, and reloading 10-round magazines over and over again, it hurts, so I'm not going to be a tough guy. This really helps. And probably the most important thing that came with the pistol was the instruction manual. I recommend that everyone read their instruction manuals and get to know your gun. The more you know your gun, the better you can be with it, and the safer you'll be with it. Always practice the best firearm safety that you can, and one good step for that is going through your instruction manual. And now we have the pistol itself. I'm not too sure if I already showed you yet or not, but we have no round in the chamber, and you can see there's no magazine in. And I went with the two-tone because that's the one that I like. I think it looks pretty cool. The slide is a heavy slide. Ruger made it extra heavy because they said for the lightness of the handle, it's just a reinforced polymer handle. Basically fancy plastic handle. It's pretty smooth, doesn't have a lot of stickiness to it, but it feels comfortable in my hand and I like it. They didn't have any of the other colors. This is the one that they had in the case when I went to the gun store, and when I saw it I liked it, so I chose it. We'll go ahead and go through some of the features of the gun. Since the slide is open, I'll show you the slide stop. And you don't have to put a whole lot of pressure on, and it snaps it right into place. And I have, I guess, average size hands, and it doesn't get in my way, neither does the manual safety. My thumb fits right down in here, and it doesn't bother me at all. The safety is, once again, I said it's a manual safety. It's pretty easy to operate, pretty easy to tell. You got a bright red, bright white, and then it is ambidextrous. You can use it on both sides, and it's just as easy on both sides. It has your standard 3-dot sight. Let's see if I can't get that front one to focus in a little bit. Both sights are adjustable. They're painted in white. They're pretty bright, but once again, this pistol is less than a year old, and it's had probably about 2, maybe 300 rounds fired through it. It does have a loaded chamber indicator. Right now you can see that the indicator's not up. You'd see a little bit of red right there, identifying that there's a round in the chamber. It has an open top slide, which the instruction manual says is to minimize jamming. I've never had a jam, so I'm assuming that it works, and we'll just say that's what it does. This is a striker fired pistol. You can see the striker right there, the pin, and as I pull the trigger, you're going to see it drop. Like I had said earlier, I shoot outside at the range that I go to, so a lot of times in the winter I've got gloves on, and the oversized trigger guard here is good, so I can fit my glove finger in without having any problems. Then you also see it's got a good trigger guard. And once again, the firearm is empty, so we'll go ahead and show you the trigger release. Now, how much travel? Pretty much all the way back up for the second shot. And it's a pretty clean, crisp pull for the second shot. I do have one thing to confess. The gun range that I go to is a 1 round every 2 seconds, so I've never actually had a chance to fire rapid fire in this pistol, so I don't really have that much judgment on how fast the trigger is because I haven't had a chance to test it yet. This pistol comes with your basic accessory rail. You know, most of your lights will fit on here. Most of your red dots will fit. Let's see if I can show you the other side. It's a little bit better. It has a magazine release on both sides, and I'll show you. Works pretty good. Once again, it's a new gun, so the spring's still pretty healthy. The handle on the gun, once again, is just a reinforced glass polymer, and it's pretty smooth. Even the serrations here aren't really all that raised, and it's just a hard plastic. I think it's a pretty comfortable gun. It feels good in my hand. The dovetail protects you pretty good from the slide. If you're going to get slid bit, then yes, I did say slid bit. That's what I call it. Then you're doing something wrong, because that's a pretty aggressive dovetail. The back strap on this, right now I've got it on the flat position, and I've shot a couple hundred rounds through it. Maybe about 50-60 rounds in, I decided to go flat instead of the raised version, which I'll show you in just a minute, and actually shoot better with it like that, and it feels a lot more comfortable in my hand. Now when I flip it over, you'll see that it's not really that drastic of a raise, and for it being such a small raise, and for at least me having that much of an effect on the quality of my shooting, I was pretty surprised by that. Alright, see if I can show it to you. The little pin right there, we're going to push that out, and then the back strap will slide right out through the bottom. Okay, now I've changed the strap, and you can see that it's raised up, but at least to me it's not that aggressive of an amount of difference. Now looking at it through the camera lens, I guess it is, but I find I shoot better with it flat, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to do it, but when you do take this pistol apart, if I can get a picture of it, I don't know. Right there, see that little black pin sticking out? That's the round ejector. If you push that down, reach through in here and push that down, once you take your takedown pin out and you release your slide, the slide will slide right off, as opposed to having to pull the trigger to get that ejector to go down and then get the slide off. I don't really understand how it happens, but people shoot themselves that way, and if you can avoid pulling the trigger when you got the gun in a dangerous position, you know, cleaning it or whatever, even though there's no round in the chamber, it does happen. So you push that ejector down and the slide will come right off. The interiors of the gun are pretty basic. You know, you get your frame, your magazine, recoil spring, barrel, your slide, takedown pin, and that's your pistol. I've never adjusted the sights. All the weapons that I own, I take them out of the box, take them to the range, and start plugging away. And same thing with this one. I didn't adjust the sights at all, and at various different ranges, I feel like I'm pretty accurate with it. I'm not going to be winning any shooting contests or anything, but I can put holes in the paper targets pretty good. So maybe I just got lucky, and all the firearms that I buy are sighted in pretty good, but it's worked out that way for me. Well, that's the end of my video. Please feel free to leave comments below and let me know what you think, what I can do to make it better, and looking forward to making some more, and hopefully you'll come and join us again. Thanks a lot. I appreciate you showing up.